Hi, good afternoon. My name is Martha. I'm 57 years old and I was in prostitution. I started when I was 14 years old. I started into that lifestyle because my brother sexually abused me. My mom and my dad didn't believe me what he did to me, so I decided to leave home. So I went into prostitution, and I was at a place that's called the auction. I was just a girl. I was 14, and there were lots of old men who would come. My mom, after that, my mom took me back home, just like the prodigal son. She didn't ask any questions about where I was or what I had been doing. I felt like I wasn't worth anything for them. I went back again. The second time it was different. They accepted me. I wasn't sleeping on the streets then. She never asked me how I brought all that money home. She was just glad that I was bringing it home. My first child was born when I was 16. My parents took care of my baby so that I could go out. The mother of the grandmother, the paternal grandmother of my first child did not like me at all. She said that I was a vagrant, that I was, a street person. While I was working in prostitution, I met another man, and that's Isayana, my daughter Isayana here's dad. I had 3 more children by that man. 3 in total, 2 girls, 2 boys and a girl, my only girl. It wasn't easy to live with him because he was an alcoholic. I would go back home to my mom. I would leave my kids with my mom, and I was always out there in the world. So then I met another man. I lived with him for 12 years. He was the same thing. He drank a lot. I felt a little bit better living with him because he was a woodworker and he would help bring money home to the children. But there came a time when he met a younger woman and he left us and we were separated. And so I went back to the streets again. And so by that time, my daughter had gotten into that life. We would go to a city called San Juan del Sur. I would be working the streets in one place and she in another place. And just one of those chance things in life, the mother of her children knew about this place here, House of Hope. And so because of her children's father's mother, she came here to House of Hope. And she was here, she stayed about a year. I was working the streets and I came here to visit my daughter, Isayana. And my daughter says to me, "Mom, would you like to change?" I said, "Yes." And so she talked to the director of House of Hope and the national director here at House of Hope. She allowed me to move here to House of Hope. I'm going to be here. I'm here almost 3 years. It's almost my 3-year anniversary. And my life has completely changed by the Lord here in this place. I have Jesus in my heart now. I found peace here in this place like never before. Here, the staff has taught me about the love of Jesus. And today, I am giving thanks to God that I am not a prostitute. I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. And that's my story. My name is Glenys Isayana. I'm 28 years old. I was 19 years old when I started into prostitution. I found out about prostitution. I found my place there when I met the father of my children. His family took me to Penton Mountain. I started to be a street person then. I started smoking and drinking, and I left here several different times because I was being pressured by that family, my boyfriend's family. They kept saying, well, you don't even come to visit, why don't you come back? And they wanted her to come back where they were. But now I'm not allowing them to manipulate me. I realized that they had been manipulating me a whole lot. And I realized that I'm the one who can decide, and that for the good of my children, I'm going to stay here at House of Hope. It was very painful and caused a lot of damage to my children every time I would leave here. It would really do me damage also because I was using lots of drugs. I asked to come back to House of Hope. It was very difficult for me to come back. It's very difficult to come back here. When I was waiting for an opportunity to come back here, I tried to cut my wrists. Somebody said to me, don't do that. There's a solution to this so that you can be together with all of your children again. And thanks to the Lord, I'm here at House of Hope again. And now I get to have my little daughter every other weekend. And that's my testimony. Okay, next Monday, she'll have her cesarean, so the baby will be born. They say it's a boy.
Le damos gracias a Dios porque madre e hija estamos buscando al Señor aquí en este momento.
We're very thankful that myself and my daughter are here together, and we're both seeking the Lord in this place.
All right, so we just heard from Martha and Isayana in Nicaragua, and during the video we had some people show up. So welcome to those who just joined to Reconnect. We played an interactive game at the beginning, and now we're just giving some updates about the country. We just heard about Nicaragua and the generational breaking of the cycle of prostitution in the family of Martha and Isayana. And so hopefully some of you who have been to Nicaragua, you've met Martha and Isayana. It was great to see their story and hear more about them. We're in a moment going to hear about Honduras, which many of you, especially the medical teams, I know Robin and the ministry teams have gone there many times. So we're going to do Honduras next. And the first story that we're going to hear is from Rosa, who some of you may remember. She has been a part of several of the last teams as far as helping House of Hope staff when it comes to cleaning up and to keeping the women in line when it comes to the clinic. And she is a fun personality. She's been a tough nail, but she is so much fun, and the Lord's been working in her life. So let's hear what's been going on with Rosa.
My name is Rosa, and for the last 5 years, I've been coming here to the House of Hope ministry in Honduras. On Saturday, I had an experience when a pastor prayed for me, and I felt a different sensation that I'd ever felt. I have a wonderful sensation since that pastor prayed for me. I just feel, I feel that I've been touched. God has never left me. He's always been with me. Even though for the last 5 years I've been a single mom, God has always been blessing my family. Even though I go through trials, He is always with me. But since Saturday up until today, I just really feel I've had a touch from the Lord, and that the Lord is with me.
Gracias.
Thank you, thank you. So it's super exciting to see that God is at work in the lives of the women in Honduras. Honduras was the second House of Hope ministry that we started in 2014. We have about 130 women in our program now, over 100 children. all the kids don't show up this time of year because school's in session, but pretty soon school will be out and they'll all be coming again. So we're excited for the growth in the ministry. Yesterday was a big event, an evangelistic event, and they had a full house. I haven't heard the count yet of how many prayed to receive Christ, but it's always exciting. They've been doing evangelism in the brothels for the last couple of weeks, and just excited. When I was there in August, we went out on the street corners at night and talked to the women. And so one of the ministries that we have in Honduras meets in a place called the El Castro Brothel. About 3.5 years ago, Joy, who's maybe going to join us on this call, and Mercedes, Joyce particularly, began to go into this dark place. It's really scuzzy. I've seen drug deals happen all around me when I've been there. Rats, the smell, the heat. And we meet at 2:00 in the afternoon, but that's when the women are up from sleeping. They sleep late because they're up in the night. And so it is a brothel. It is an active working brothel, although some of the women, their clients go to a Shoots by the Hour motel around the corner. Some of them service their clients actually there, I've heard them say. Joy started a ministry with the children, and it was a wonderful outreach. And for several years, mainly we're ministering to the children there, along with Nelsie, our colleague. But then when I would go with them, and we would do evangelism with adult women. But this year, the Mercedes, our national director, got the burden and the vision to teach a discipleship class inside this brothel. And so it's been amazing to see the women open the Word of God and get their notebooks out and write their answers on their papers week after week. It's been exciting to see them grow in the Lord. Some of them are beginning to make changes in their lifestyle and take steps to make their life a whole different life than what they have now. And we're excited for the changes in the El Castro brothel. Every week, we go, staff from House of Hope Honduras, and when I'm in the country, I also go to the El Castro brothel. Here I am in the El Castro brothel, and these are the people. There are drug addicts and pimps here, although on this day, the head drug dealer is not there. But there are drug dealers and drug deals taking place all around us. Most of the women that work in this brothel come to our weekly discipleship class, and their children come and hear a Bible story and do fun activities as they're learning about Jesus and as they're seeing the love of Christ shown through the staff. It's very exciting that on Tuesday afternoons, light is shining into the darkness. You are making this possible for the women and children in this dark place. I wish I could describe to you how it smells. It's one of the distinctive features of the environment is the smell, and it's very, very dirty. I have seen very large rats scurrying around. Dirty water sometimes pours down on our heads when we're trying to teach the Bible study. It is not a very wholesome or particularly pleasant environment, but it is a place where the children and the women just absorb the love of Christ shown to them. We're doing some healing activities with bubbles and other things to help the women to turn their hearts and their minds towards Christ. Thank you.
My name is Caroline, and I am one of the virtual volunteers here. We have one more video to show you guys after this of Bolivia and the update we have there with the young adolescent girls that have recently been found there who are being pimped out and put into prostitution by a lot of their family members. But before we show you that video, I did want to let you guys know that if you have any questions, comments, things you would like April to talk about, people who you'd like to check on, if you could hit up the chat room, the little chat box, type in if you have a question or if you have something you would like us to talk about before the end of today. We will be checking that while you guys are watching the Bolivia update. And whenever this is over, we'll let April know kind of like, hey, here are the things people would like to talk about, or if you did have questions, and we'll make sure to address those before the end of the day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm April Havlin, and I'm the International Director of House of Hope. I want to tell you about some little girls. In August and September of last year, our staff and I began to realize that there were lots of little girls in an Indian village, Quechua Indian village, about 8 to 10 blocks away from House of Hope. It's a village that's only about 2 blocks long on the main street. There's a market and a school, and a lot of the people that live in that area do agriculture and make day wages, and a lot of the people are alcoholics. We had a girl come into our program that was family to a lot of the girls that lived in that village. And she was a girl that spoke Quechua herself, and she introduced us to these little girls in the village. And we began to meet one girl and another girl. In September, I had the privilege of meeting 2 little girls that came to House of Hope to do some activities with the girls who were already living there in our girls' home. I want to talk to you about Jacinia. Jacinia sat by me when I was conducting some healing activities, and we had done this activity where it was like a butterfly, and the girls would put right in the sections of the butterfly's wings horrible things that had happened to them, and then they would cover over them with colorful strips of paper. Well, this little girl I was helping her write down the words because she didn't know how to write all the words, and she confided in me, and she just said, I hate that, I want to get out of there. And she tried very hard from the time I met her until just recently when I was in there in March to protect her little sister. But when we got there in March, she says, I hate to tell you, but my little sister is now in the game too, being pimped out by her dad. It's just a horrific life that she's living, and oftentimes he will punish her severely. He won't hardly let her get out. So sometimes she comes to church on Sunday morning, but it's not allowed to come to House of Hope, or once in a while she gets to come to House of Hope. And we're so grateful for you, our supporters and our donors, who are going to get this little precious one, Jacinia, and her little baby sister, Valeria, out of human trafficking. Our current girls' home, we have adolescent girls, and the ones who live in the home are learning and going to school. 2 girls just made 100 on their report card last week, which is exciting to hear. But they're out of the harm's way, and they're out of the trafficking situation that they were both in, but these other girls are not. And so we want to make room for these girls. So in March of this year, we went into the public school there in Chuya, the village, and we spoke to all of the girls from the 3rd grade through the 12th grade. And in every group, there were 2 or 3 girls that came up to me or one of the staff members and said, somebody is pimping them out for money. And these little girls would love to get out of this situation that they're in, but they don't have any way out. But we are getting a larger girls' home. We are trusting the Lord that you can help us get a larger girls' home. You can be a hero for these little Chuya girls and give them a hope of a future. They can get their education, they can get healing that they so desperately need. They can be in a safe place. They can eat 3 square meals a day and get recuperated, the ones that are malnourished, and they can be healthy and whole and serve the Lord. And it's very exciting to see these precious young girls as they come out of these horrific situations and into the life in Christ. You can be a blessing to those girls. So I flew back from Bolivia on Tuesday of this week. So I was there for almost 2 weeks, and I was able to see Valeria and Jacinia, and it broke your heart. This little 6-year-old, the younger sister, she has such untrue beliefs about herself as a person. And it's really sad to see her believing these things. We were able to minister to her and speak truth into her life. And that was exciting for me. Those of you who are familiar with the transformational prayer process, that's what we were ministering to these girls with, and speaks truth into their lives. It was really exciting to me to meet the girls that are new in the home that I hadn't gotten to meet before. It's a process when a girl wants to come each girl's situation is a little bit different. The way that we have permission to have them living with us is very different for each person. It's not a standard way of doing it. But I wanted you to meet Catherine. And Catherine is one of our newest girls. There is a newer girl since her, but Catherine is one that we wanted you to meet. When Catherine moved to House of Hope, she had a degree of malnourishment. We were able to get her some nutritional supplements so that she's been able to gain some weight, and plus eating 3 square meals a day. I'm so impressed by how much the girls eat. They eat at least twice as much as I do on their first plate of food, and then they get seconds. It's so amazing. Where are they putting it all? I don't know. But they're really good eaters, those girls in Bolivia. It's impressive to see how that Catherine has started to play with the other girls and started to run around, and they enjoy playing volleyball. Last week when I was there, we bought a swing set. And you would think a child 12 or 13 years old would not be too excited, but Catherine was one of the first ones to run outside and play on the swing set and slide down the slide. These girls were not able to be play and be little girls when they were young, and so now they work on they want to recoup those years. And so Catherine is learning her nines tables, and she's working on getting adjusted. Her mother is moving to Brazil and leaving her there, but she's just very happy to be out of the trafficking situation with her male family members who were selling her body to men. And so it's exciting for us to see how Catherine is beginning to come to know Lord Jesus and how she loves to worship at church. I think our girls are the ones who sing the loudest on the Sunday morning service because they're just so grateful to the Lord. The youngest girl that lives in our home right now today is 6. The oldest girl just turned 18, but most of them are the 18-year-old is, the next oldest one is 13, almost 14. So they're mostly young girls. So this is an exciting time for us. And we know that God is going to flourish this ministry because he sent us to Bolivia and to be near that village for such a time as this. And we thank you so much for helping us with this girls' home.
All right, so those are our 3 country updates. We got to hear about Martha and Sayana in Nicaragua. We got to hear Rosa and hear about El Castro in Honduras. And then we got to hear about Catherine and the little girls in Bolivia. Thank you guys so much for coming today. We are going to have a time shortly where we have more time for interaction, more time to catch up, because this is a reunion. This is a time to see old familiar faces, to see team members, and to meet other people who have been to House of Hope, because it is a unique experience and a unique community to be a part of. So thank you guys so much for taking time on a Saturday to come hang out, to reminisce about memories, maybe see some familiar faces from House of Hope, as well as with each other. Before we go into a time of questions or interactions, there's still time to put your questions or things that you want to talk about in the chat, but I wanted to real quick share with you guys some exciting things coming up with House of Hope here stateside that you get to be involved in. So after Thanksgiving, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, we have Giving Tuesday, which House of Hope likes to call #Giving School Day. A lot of you guys have already heard, been a part of, participated in #Giving School Day, but every year for Giving Tuesday, House of Hope community rallies around and we send 2,200 kids to school. And so we wanted to let you guys know about a way that you can be involved and you're invited to make a difference. And so there's 2 things that you can do. One, you can inspire other people to give by pledging a matching gift, which what that means is any amount that you pledge before Giving Tuesday will be counted towards a matching gift that will inspire someone the day of to get. So if you give a $30 school uniform, that means instead of just 1 kid being sent to school, you're sending 2. And so it's a really great way to inspire other people to give. It's kind of that exciting deal coupon of just doubling the efforts and doubling the impact made when someone gives generously. So there's matching gifts, but then there's also something called crowdfunding page. And Catherine's going to put up the picture of what that looks like. So there's #Giving School Day 2023. And it's really easy to find. You go to givebutter.com/HOH Giving School Day. And as you can see, we have our event name, we have the purpose of the event, which is to transform the lives of children with school uniforms. You can see a link in the poster that we have for Giving Tuesday. And this is a great way that people can give, they can share about the fundraiser, and they can interact. Can you put up the second photo? And so with this, you are able to actually make your own campaign page where you can invite people to give and comment, like, interact, and show a community rallying around this cause. So what it would look like if you created a fundraiser is we have a thermometer towards the bottom of the screen, which I don't think we captured it in the photo, but our goal overall is $65,000, and you can set a personal goal of whatever you feel led or that you think your community can do. I have a fundraiser for $500. And so this is a website that you can send your family, your friends to. They can give, and they can see that thermometer fill up as you go. And it's a great way to it's a great way to get your community involved. It's an easy way to share. It's fun. It's interactive. You can leave gifts, comments, and you can see who else is fundraising. You can create a team, have a team of people fundraising. So it's a fun way to interact. It's a way that you can be an ambassador for school uniforms. You can represent the women and children at House of Hope and take that into your community. So if you're interested in either of those things, you can email me at abby@houseofhopeinternational.com, and I can help you set up or answer any questions you may have.